An Indian national who had been languishing for the last 18 years in a prison in Saudi Arabia is all set to be freed after the Riyadh criminal court revoked his death sentence in the case relating to the accidental death of his sponsor's paralyzed son back in 2006. Abdul Rahim hails from Kozhikode in the Indian state of Kerala. He had gone for work to Saudi Arabia in 2006 for a family as a driver. He was entrusted with the care of the family's paralyzed son, and it is learned that while Rahim was driving the car with the boy in the back seat, the life support system had come off, resulting in the 15-year-old's death. Since then, he had been languishing in a Saudi prison and had been sentenced to death in 2018. The decision had been upheld by Saudi Arabia's top court, and last year the family of the victim had agreed to pardon Abdul Rahim in exchange of $4 million blood money. The plea to save Abdul Rahim had prompted a massive drive to collect the money to secure his release. Many people from the Malayali community, which he belonged to, including several celebrities, politicians and overseas Indians, joined the drive. The initiative raised a whopping 15 million Saudi riyals, that's about 4 million American dollars. But the Indian embassy has been following up the matter with the Saudi courts and agencies and has extended full assistance to the family of Abdul Rahim to transfer the money collected to the court in Saudi Arabia. Now, the court is expected to issue the release order pretty soon. To give us more updates on the story, we are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibil, who's joining us over the phone line. Siddhant, what is the latest on the story?
Well, it's truly a heartening story. It's a weight of
there seems to be a bit of an issue with the phone line with my colleague Siddhant Sibil there. We'll try reconnect with him. But this of course, is the big story of the moment where the Indian national who had been in a Saudi prison for well over 18 years is now all set to return home. He had been convicted in 2018 on charges of murder. This was because of accidental death that happened of his sponsor's paralyzed son way back in 2006. Now, Abdul Rahim had spent 18 years in a Saudi prison after he'd been, remember, hired as a driver by a particular family in Saudi Arabia. The son was paralyzed, and while he was sitting in the back seat of the car when Abdul Rahim was driving the car, his life support reportedly had accidentally come off, resulting in his death, for which Abdul Rahim had been taken into custody. He was held in prison till about 2018. He was then convicted and was given a death sentence and has been in prison. But now it's being said that he'll be allowed to walk free, provided the blood money of $4 million, of course, is paid. And my colleague Siddhant Sibil, I'm told, is back with us. Siddhant, you were telling us about the latest in terms of what's happened in the story so far.
Well, essentially, the Indian embassy played an important role. They have been following the matter closely with the Saudi courts and other concerned agencies. The embassy also extended full assistance to the family of Abdul Rahim in transfer of the blood money from India to the Saudi courts. Now, it is now awaited as to when he will be able to come back from Saudi Arabia to India, to Kerala, that is his home state. But essentially, we know that this is a larger story of how the Malayali community, who have a huge diaspora in West Asian countries, including in Saudi Arabia, came together to crowdfund the 34 crore rupees, which was given as the blood money to the family of the victim. But all in all, it is a happy story today, but it took almost 18 years. He traveled to Saudi Arabia for employment when he was just 26, and he's leaving Saudi Arabia when he is 44. So essentially, the time, of course, is not going to come back. But all in all, the fact that the community came together, the role, of course, of the Indian embassy as well, and finally the release happening of Abdul Rahim after almost around 2 decade long incarnation of being in Saudi jails, and of course now getting released from the Saudi authorities.
Absolutely indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us those details there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.